After beating the Lions on Thanksgiving in Detroit, the Packers are hoping to make it a December to remember by hopefully beating the Bears on Sunday at Lambeau Field. Put a big red bow on it. It's all next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Welcome to December, PFP faithful. I'm Scott Clark from the Gaming Outsider, and it's starting to get real, y'all. There's only 4 weeks left in the regular season, and we're officially on playoff seeding watch. It's a tight race, and the next few games are super important. I'm happy to be here with you all. Let's talk Packers football.
Yes, let's. And back from a Thanksgiving extended family getaway in Moab, Utah, I am Wayne Henderson. I got to give a huge shout out to Mr. David Newman, who covered for me in fine style. Nice features on the show last week, so thanks again, David. I appreciate it. This is episode 334 of your Packers Fan Podcast. Let's relive some of the excitement from the Packers' win over the Lions. And although it's now December, we're still thankful for the opportunity to share your insightful listener thoughts, so stay tuned.
Also, it is Bears week, people. We'll preview Sunday's Bears at Packers game, and I'll share yet another set of keys to a Packers victory. And speaking of victories, let's go ahead and talk about that victory over the Lions. It's a little weird talking about that game that was, 4 days ago now? I'm used to talking about it like the day after, usually when we record it. So I had to go back and do some rereading to refresh my memory here. But let's go over the leaders in the game first off. Passing, Jordan Love. Apparently Toyotathon is here.
Yeah.
He was 18 for 30 for 234 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had a rating of 124.2. That is what I'm talking about. Rushing, Josh Jacobs led the charge with 17 carries for 83 yards. Receiving, Dontavian Wicks, 6 receptions for 94 yards and 2 TDs. On the defensive side of the ball, Isaiah McDuffie, 12 tackles, 7 of them all by himself, and 2 tackles for loss. Numbers were looking fantastic against the Lions. You really couldn't ask for a whole lot better than that. Starting with the opening drives on offense, had a solid drive to start out, got to the 30. Then Love started making some poor throws, wound up having to settle for a field goal, which was good. Packers led 3-0. On the defensive side, had a quick 3-and-out, which was awesome. Looked like maybe Goff fumbled, but he was ruled as throwing an incomplete pass, so the Packers still led 3-0 after the first 2 opening possessions.
Right. Incomplete pass. That's what we'll call it. Hey, the Packers found success on 4th and 2, wound up with a score because 3rd and 2, we decided to pass again. 4th and 2, we decided to go for it like we're the Lions or something and pass the ball. Thankfully, Wicks caught it in the end zone. It did have to be reviewed. It was a little suspect, but it was upheld. Despite being the close call, the Packers are up 10-0, and my Thanksgiving was off to a fine start, although I was freezing my butt off watching the game outside on a TV set on the side of an RV.
You were watching outside, watching it casted on an RV? That's hilarious, man.
Yep.
Did it once. Let's go ahead and do it twice. They were successful once again on 4th down towards the end of the 4th quarter. The end of this series was very stressful for me. 4th and 2 inside the 5. We had a false start penalty, but LaFleur allegedly called timeout before the flag was thrown. I think we got away with one there, Wayne. I went back and looked at that footage. He definitely called timeout after the false start. But hey, you win some, you lose some. Love wound up throwing one to Dobbs in the front corner of the end zone for 6. So Packers led at that point 17-7. And you're right. I just love that the Packers are using the Lions strategy against them, being so aggressive on 4th down. This is what everybody's kind of wanting LaFleur to do. And he called a good game this time. Really was happy with his performance.
Very much indeed. We did have a huge stop on 4th down during the Lions' opening drive of the second half. The Packers, they stopped the run on 3rd down, and Campbell, unsurprisingly, went for it on 4th down. The Green Bay defense again stuffed the run and turned over the ball to the Packers on downs. This led to a 51-yard beautiful pass to Christian Watson for a TD. We are extending our lead 24-14. Oh, so good.
It was awesome. Packers did nearly give me a heart attack at the 2-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. The ball squirted out and was loose for a minute inside the 5-yard line. Thankfully, a Packer fell on it. Next play was 3rd down, which saw Love throwing one out of the end zone. Thankfully, the Lions were called for a face mask, giving Green Bay 1st down. Love threw one to Dobbs on the left side, who ran it in for 6. Packers led at that point 31-21.
And wrapping up the highlights from the game, in the final minutes of the game, well, they were, let's say, interesting, Scott. Green Bay decided to go for it on 4th down at midfield. Conversion would have sealed the game, but a turnover would have put the Lions in position to tie the game. And we know all about those ties. But Wicks caught it, one past the sticks. All Green Bay had to do after that was just kneel on it. And the Packers win on Thanksgiving in Detroit, 31-24. Jordan Love got his Thanksgiving turkey leg that was owed to him in Detroit for a few years. And now the circle is complete. Go, Pack, go.
Absolutely. And that means that Jordan Love is 3-0 on Thanksgiving. You know that, right?
That's what is brought up in the listener voicemail section as well.
Yeah.
Things are rolling right along.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that Thanksgiving falls in line with Toyotathon. So apparently that's the kicker, right?
I think that's all just destiny right there. There were some lowlights because Detroit did close the gap in the second quarter. We were letting them hang on just in case. The Green Bay defense struggled on 3rd down in this series. Montgomery ran one in on 3rd and short. That's at the point where the Lions were starting to catch up. It was 10-7 in our favor. Not really nervous, but wondering, let's get back to focus, Packers. Fundamental football, please. Right, Scott?
Absolutely. And the Packers D did let the Lions score again before the end of the first half. Again, a lot of 3rd down conversion. This one, they had the runner behind the line of scrimmage and let him squirt out and run all the way to the end zone. Packers still led 17-14, which did eventually end the half, but I wasn't feeling comfortable at halftime. I don't know about you.
No, I wouldn't say I was comfortable, but, we had the lead, which is better than not. So we went with that. One other low light, the Packers just couldn't keep a 10-point lead at all during the game. Jared Goff and company scored on their second drive of the second half. The defense suddenly forgot how to tackle. Goff also frustrating. He had so much time in the pocket to throw the ball, so it's no wonder that he found Tesla in the end zone, though the Packers were still leading 24-21. We can't expect to be destroying the Lions in Detroit, but it would have been nice, right?
It would have been nice.
So that wraps up the Thanksgiving game. So I then had the weekly poll question. You can find it in our Facebook group at PackersCommunity.com, as well as on X at Packers Fan Pod. Shortly after the game, even though it was a few days ago, I wanted to post it right after we beat the Lions. And I wanted to know, how much better do you feel about our Packers after beating the Lions as we get ready to host the Bears? Can't wait, bring them on? Or B, still just cautiously optimistic? Or C, a bit scared because Chicago somehow keeps finding ways to win? Where you fall on that, Scott?
Man, part of me wanted to say a bit scared, but the more I think about it, I'm going to stick with cautiously optimistic. And here's why. The reason that the Bears are winning so well is their running game. But the Packers' run defense is really solid right now. So I think that's going to be a true test of whether or not Chicago is going to be doing this. So yeah, cautiously optimistic. You?
How surprised would you be if I said, I can't wait, bring on the Bears?
Not at all, man.
Not at all. Okay. Now, we did actually get 2 write-in votes this week in the Facebook group at PackersCommunity.com. Jacob Searles put in an option of looking for the Packers to break the habit of playing down to their competition. And Beth W. said, if Jaden Reed returns, I would be moderately optimistic because Love needs more targets. So then after we combine all the votes in Facebook and X, 51% of the folks went along the same lines as you, Scott, still just cautiously optimistic. 38%, though, can't wait, bring on the Bears. And then we had 7% who are a bit scared because the Bears just keep finding ways to win. 2% looking for them to break the habit playing down to the competition. And 2%, if Jaden Reed returns, I'll be moderately optimistic because Love needs more targets.
I don't know about playing down to their competition. Chicago's looking pretty stout right now. They're just unstoppable. So this could be the time where, hey, we can beat the tough team, as long as it's not the Browns, or the, don't get me started. But
okay.
Yeah. We had some comments in the poll over on the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook group. Jared McChinney-Kerr says, cautiously optimistic, but still feeling of bring it. 234 yards, 4 touchdowns, 124.2 rating. Toyotathon Jordan Love is in full effect. I love it. Garrett Stritzel also said, we need everyone healthy. The D took a hit with Wyatt's injury. We need LVN and Quay to slow down the Bears' running game and contain Williams. Hopefully the offense can get a huge lead and force Bears into predictable plays. That sounds very familiar to one of my keys to a victory, but stay tuned for that. Bill Gardner also said, I'm really worried about the injuries that keep stacking. That is one thing we did not mention in the lowlights is the injuries. Wyatt was a huge loss for us. So and I hope that he's healthy for legitimate reasons too, not just for game reasons, selfish reasons, but hope he's doing okay.
Indeed. And I think it was today that Matt LaFleur, I think he was talking about Wyatt when he said that it's an ankle injury and he's out for the rest of the season, but maybe it was another player. There's so many injuries all of a sudden that it could have been somebody else. One other comment, Dictus in the Netherlands said, honestly, this win really hits hard. I went in kind of rather even-keeled, but the whole arc of the season, the Lions being the team to beat in the North lately, this win, this feels really good. I feel very good about getting into the playoffs because once in, why not us? Punch the ticket, get to the dance, get hot, ball out. Very up and down season, but right now I'm riding this positivity wave, guys. Let's enjoy it. Hashtag Go Pack Go. Go Pack Go indeed, Dictus. I love it.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all the comments. You too can join us. How can they do that, Wayne, if they want to be part of the conversation?
Well, if they wanted to join us, be part of the conversation, because this Sunday's game is pivotal and it's the big one. Join us at Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community. The group is at packerscommunity.com, especially for the live game chat section that's going to be going on there. But there's been some other fun things posted in there as well. Check out the videos of and photos of Scott and Dan recently up there in, was it in Green Bay when you went to the brewery or outside of Green Bay?
Yes, it was right downtown.
And did they really have a drinking fountain with beer?
It was called a beer blur. Yes. In Wisconsin, we call drinking fountains bubblers. So instead of a bubbler, it was a beer blur. We have pictures and video of Dan and myself both drinking beer out of a water fountain. It was awesome. Our tour guide was amazing. He was drinking beer while he was giving the tour.
Perfect.
And he was enjoying himself immensely. Lots of dad jokes. It was a good time.
Nice.
Let's move on to some listener feedback. You can be a part of the PFP. We want your insights after watching the game against the Bears, but also please include your Wager a Fun Score guess for the Week 15 Packers at Broncos matchup. Let your voice be heard by either doing one of the following. First, record your voice, attach it to an email, and send it to feedback@PackersFanPodcast.com or by calling the PFP voicemail at +1 920 3PACK-GO. For this one, please send in your feedback before noon Central Time on Sunday. Thank you, and go Pack Go.
Go, 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 Pack Go. Happy Victory Thanksgiving. Go Pack Go. Woo, what an awesome game. Jordan Love is now 3 for 3 in Thanksgiving games. Give that man his turkey leg. Woo! I was so glad to see Matt LaFleur finally give Jordan Love the spatula, as I loved hearing David Newman say on last week's podcast. That was so, I love that analogy. Give him the spatula and let him cook. Good stuff. And by the way, David, you did a great job on the podcast last week. Loved it in Wayne's absence. But back to the game. How can you go to Jordan Love? How can you not talk about Micah Parsons? Holy crap. He was just everywhere. He had a 38.5% pressure rate on the quarterback over the entire game. So that means basically almost 40% of the time he was in Jared Goff's face. That is nuts. What else is nuts? Dontavian Wicks, of course. That's just got to build his confidence. And what I want to see, I think we've always been talking about, or not always been talking about, we've been talking about how the team needs a number one wide receiver, and Matt LaFleur poo-poos that whole idea. But I think there's a lot to it. You got to have somebody that's dependable, that's always going to be there, that's always going to catch the ball. And if Dontavian Wicks is the guy, that's great. If not, we just got to go from there, and find somebody else. The defense was just absolutely huge. Stopping Jahmyr Gibbs, that was the name of the game. They'd done it twice, and each time that they played the Lions. In 2 games, Jahmyr Gibbs only totaled 87 yards on 29 carries and 13 receptions for 49 yards. And to put that in perspective, I pulled this from the Pack-A-Day podcast from Andy Herman. The rest of the NFL, with Jahmyr Gibbs, he has 146 rushes for 932 yards and 10 touchdowns, while the Packers kept him to 87 yards in 2 games and 0 touchdowns. How about that? There were a couple controversial calls, of course. The Wicks touchdown, I don't know what a catch is anymore, but, hey, he got it. The non-pass interference call on Watson, while the camera was looking right at the back of the official, who was looking right at Watson and saw the defensive player grab his arm and still didn't call it. But then again, maybe that's just a makeup call for the call when, or the non-call when Matt LaFleur said he called a timeout. Even in the press conference, Matt LaFleur winked when he said he got the timeout in time.
Nice.
If you look at the box score, it's almost a mirror image, which is crazy. I don't think I've seen one like that before, but where the difference is, Detroit was 0 for 2 on 4th downs, and Green Bay was 3 for 3 on those 4th down plays. There were no interceptions or fumbles lost. Penalties kept him for 3 for 26. The crowd noise, it was almost a non-factor, but it sounded pretty loud, just watching it on TV. This was just an absolute team victory in all 3 phases. There are no missed field goals, no missed PATs by Brad McManus. I would like to see him not kick the ball into the end zone so it doesn't give the opponent favorable field position. I just am glad to see that LaFleur finally found his gonads and stopped with the safe conservative play calling. That was such a relief. We've been calling for it for weeks. Stop hindering your offense. Let them cook. Let them go. Like I said, David Newman said, give love the spatula and let the love cook. Let your offense do what it's designed to do. Stop hindering them and let them just go. I mean, on the last play of the game on 4th down, Dontavian Wicks lost his shoe. Their team is all in. Let's do it. Let's go into Bear Week and put them down like we're supposed to be doing. I'm going to call for a Packer win, of course, because it's the Bears, and the Bears still suck. I'm going to go with Green Bay 30, Bears 20. And I got one last thing.
Roger, but I just got off the phone with the president, Donald Trump. He asked me to pass a message along to all 32 NFL franchises. So let me tell you what it reads here, all right? It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck!
Go, 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 Pack, go!
Go Pack, go indeed. Thank you, Dan. Always great to hear from you. Lots to unpack there. I'm glad you liked David's, grab a spatula, let him cook. David was a great host, by the way. It was awesome to have him on the show. He did a great job. I don't know, with the whole Dontavian Wicks, being the dependable receiver, I like the Packers when they don't have the dependable receiver. I like it when they've got so many targets to keep everybody guessing. Look at, Minnesota. We're going to talk about them later right now. Their guy, is not doing anything now. Now, granted, they've got issues in the quarterback situation and all that.
No.
But Justin Jefferson is having he had the worst game of his career this past weekend. And a lot of that has to do with that he is the dependable receiver that is getting double teamed and, is forcing other players to be open. So he's not being able to be as productive as he wants. I like the idea of having multiple dependable receivers,
Ooh,
multiple guys,
okay.
shaking it up each week. I feel like every time. Remember last week when we're like, "Who's that guy?" We didn't know that guy's name. Like, I've never heard of that person. He just scored a touchdown. I like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love knowing all the players' names, but I like, because if it's keeping me guessing, it's keeping the defense guessing. So I'm okay with it just being somebody else's week each week, in and out.
And imagine when we get Reed fully back and Golden. I still want Golden to get his touchdown for the season. I don't think he's got one yet, and it's got to be weighing on him.
I know it's only his rookie season. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, he was our first pick," and Green Bay, when it comes to rookies, not just, we've seen them do it with quarterbacks, right? They don't push their rookie quarterbacks out the gate. They let them cook. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of the theme this episode. They're letting him cook. No, don't want to push him too much. Don't want him to let himself get too hurt. Let him bake a little bit, and he'll be a breakout in a season or two. So that's my thing. That's my thoughts.
That was a good point that Dan made, comparing the box score and how it was pretty even, except for fourth down comparisons. Who would have thought that the Lions would be 0-2 with fourth downs and we would be 3 of 3?
Crazy. Awesome.
Very awesome indeed. It was just one of those days. Sorry, Detroit. Let's look to the future. Your 8-3-1 Green Bay Packers finally facing, as I hold in a little bit of vomit in my throat, and if I vomit, then you might throw up, and if I throw up, you might hurl, and the Wayne's World thing. The 9-3 Bears. I don't know how that happened, but they're coming to Lambeau for the first time this season. It all goes down Sunday, December 7th. The game has been moved to 3:25 p.m. Central Time at Lambeau Field to make it the game of the week. And overall, the Bears still suck because the Packers lead the all-time series 108-96 and 6 ties. And over the past 30 matchups, Green Bay is 27-3. So can I get a go, Pack, go?
Go, Pack, go, indeed.
And it all started November 27th, 1921, when we first played against Chicago. They were known as the Staleys. But what's funny is that the very next time we played them, they had already changed monikers to being the Bears. So the Staleys did not hang around all that long.
Scared them pretty bad. They're just like, we're going to start over.
Staleys. Nobody knows what it is. Back then, they probably did. My first in-person Bears-Packers game, September 13th, 2012. Sir Troy invited me up to see the game at Lambeau Field, along as going with his father-in-law. Not only was it a huge 23-10 victory for the Packers, but watching us sack Jay Cutler something like 5 times was amazing. And also epic was hearing almost the entire stadium chanting, "Bears still suck," during one of the timeouts in the third quarter, and Aaron Rodgers just kind of turned around and smirked a little bit. It was beautiful. But my most memorable Packers-Bears game was watching the Pack beat the Bears in the 2010 NFC Championship game in Chicago to advance to the Super Bowl. What a way to put a playoff dagger into the hearts of Bears fans. Magical.
Absolutely.
So magical.
Absolutely. I wonder if it's the same game, because my one that stood out to me, I could tell the same ones I've told in the past, but I was trying to think of a new one. I wonder if it's the same game you were talking about, because there was a game where Jay Cutler was playing, and it was just like they had given up. Jay Cutler was like on an exercise bike on the sidelines, like while his backup quarterback, and just kind of lackadaisical, just pedaling away and just staring. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like,
these are great memories. And I wonder what kind of memories might be made this coming Sunday at Lambeau Field, because the weather is just going to be amazingly cold. Mostly sunny, but still only 21 degrees Fahrenheit at kickoff. That's -5 degrees Celsius, my friends. If you're heading out to Lambeau Field, please, please, please bundle up and stay warm. No frostbite, okay?
We saw shirtless people at the game we were at, but there was also not any snow on the ground. It wasn't sub-zero temperatures, or below freezing temperatures, I suppose. But dress warmly. I highly recommend it. All right, Wayne, are you ready for some keys to a Packers victory over the Bears this weekend?
Yes, because some people online are trying to make me a little nervous and doubt my Packers. So what are the Packers going to do to beat the Chicago Bears in Green Bay?
Well, number one, they got to stuff the run and force Caleb Williams to win, or at least try to win anyway. The Chicago Bears offense has been absolutely dominant on the ground, especially in their recent win over the Eagles, where they rushed for a whopping 281 yards. The Packers defense, which ranks third in the NFL, is in rushing yards allowed per game, under 100 yards, must live up to its reputation. They need to commit to stopping the run on early downs and force Caleb Williams into obvious passing situations. The Bears' identity is built on this physical running game. Shutting it down neutralizes their primary strengths, forces Williams to rely on an inconsistent completion percentage, and allows the Packers' secondary and pass rush to dictate the game. Expect to see the Packers deploy their base defense with three linebackers, like they would with Quay Walker and Isaiah McDuffie, to hold the point of attack against Chicago's two tight end formations, which they often use to run outside and stretch the defense. Strategy number two, protect the ball and neutralize the Bears' opportunistic defense. The Chicago defense thrives on creating takeaways, leading the NFL with 26 takeaways, 17 interceptions, 9 fumble recoveries. Quarterback Jordan Love and the Packers offense must play a clean, disciplined game. Fundamental football.
Yep.
This means prioritizing ball security, especially when throwing downfield against the Bears' hyper-aggressive defensive backs who are prone to jumping routes. A turnover-free or turnover-low performance is critical. If the Packers offense can avoid gifting the Bears short fields or scores, they can wear down the defense with sustained drives. When the Bears secondary plays man coverage on the outside, Love should look to exploit their aggressiveness with double moves and pump fakes to connect on explosive downfield passes, which he and the Packers are always looking to do. Lastly, sustain drives and win with time of possession battle. In a cold weather divisional game, winning the battle of attrition is crucial. The Packers offense needs to sustain long clock-consuming drives, converting third downs and matching any scores the Bears manage, as they successfully did against the Lions. This involves a balanced attack, keeping the defense on the field, and keeping their own defense fresh. The Bears have demonstrated a willingness to be aggressive on fourth down under new coach Ben Johnson. The best way to combat an aggressive offense is to keep them off the field entirely. By converting third downs and controlling the clock, the Packers will limit the number of possessions the Bears have and maintain their offensive momentum, making a statement that they are controlling the flow of the game at Lambeau. In summary, by stuffing the run, protecting the ball to avoid turnovers, and sustaining long drives, the Green Bay Packers can deny the Bears their preferred style of play and secure a crucial victory to take the division lead. And there you have it.
Oh, yeah. Go, Pack, go. I am fired up. That is very well thought out and put together. I like it. And what I'd like to see happen is us have a commanding lead in the third quarter, and much like Jay Cutler riding the bike on the sidelines or whatever, maybe we will make Caleb Williams just look over there, be bored, paint his nails like he likes to do. That's what should be happening on the sidelines. We're going to win. These are the keys, Green Bay Packers.
All right, man. It is time to look at our 2025 season wager of fun. Last week, I predicted the Packers winning 24-23. That was a differential of 8. Wayne, you predicted 23-21 in favor of Green Bay. That's a total differential of 11. Since the score was 31-24, that means Scott wins again. 3 weeks in a row, sir. 3 in a row. Just saying. Don't just shrug your shoulders at me. Come on.
Well, listen, Scott. I remember hearing you say on the podcast, because although I wasn't on it, I did edit it and listen to it. You were saying that in your heart, the Packers are going to lose, but just for fun, for the wager of fun, you're throwing out some numbers in the Packers' victory. So really?
Hey, I'm playing to win. I'm not playing with my heart. I'm playing with my head.
I want to, when we get to the predictions for this week, it's going to be interesting.
It will be interesting. As for the listeners, we had a differential of 3 points from Thomas Carlson, who predicted 31-21. Very nicely done on that one. Wow. He got the Green Bay score exactly right. Only 3 points off on the Detroit score. So very well done. So currently, Wayne, the score is 4 for you, 3 for me, 2 ties. Very close game. I thought you were running away with this thing, but I'm back in it, baby. Back in it. Our listener leaders in first place, we got a 3-way tie. 2-way tie, it looks like.
Right.
Jay Walters, Dan Dyler. And then in second place, David Hawkins, Brett Connor, and Thomas Carlson each have 1 win each. As for this game, Wayne, I haven't done it yet. I'm doing that lucky number 27. I'm going to say Green Bay 27, Chicago 21. How about you?
Okay. Now, are you really planning for the Packers to win, or are you just putting numbers out there again?
I think that the Packers run defense is something that the Bears haven't faced in a while. With other teams. So I think they'll win.
Because even though the Eagles are the reigning champs, they have not looked good the past game and a half, maybe longer. So,
it's not just the Bears. It's other teams too. So, yeah.
Indeed. Now, okay, 27-21 for Scott. I'm going to go with Packers 28 and the Bears 18, but a Packers victory to be sure.
All right. As for the listeners, let's see. Jay Walters says Green Bay 27, Chicago 24. Dan Dowler, Green Bay 30. He didn't do 27. I'm shocked. And Chicago 30. Garrett Stritzel says Green Bay 28, Chicago 13. David Newman 30-22 in favor of Green Bay, and Thomas Carlson 34-20 in favor of Green Bay.
Yeah, and Dan Dowler's 30-20 is kind of a nice round numbers. It'll be easier to do the math if it's close to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Brett Connor in the UK says Green Bay 24, Bears 21. So too close to call. That's a little nerve-wracking. The NFC North, I am a little nauseous mentioning that the Bears are 9-3, but that's just for now. The Packers are 8-3-1 in second place. The Lions are in third place at 7-5, and the Vikings are getting worse by the minute. They're 4-8. And I just got to say, Scott, I feel bad for Aaron Jones being on that team.
Yeah, right. It's what you get, man.
Love Aaron Jones, but
I know.
Whew. Or as they say in the Midwest, do they still say woofda?
Woofda. Yes. And speaking of, seeing the Vikings score a goose egg kind of made me smile a little bit, although it would have been nice, for them to beat the Seahawks, but They lost 26-0. This is the second game in a row they haven't scored a touchdown because, last week they played us. This is also the first time they've been shut out in 18 years, which was a 34-0 loss to the Green Bay Packers on November 11th, 2007. This was also the Seahawks' first shutout since they beat the Chicago Bears 10 years ago by a score of 26-0. This is just a crazy game. I had it on, and I just kind of stopped paying attention because it was a comedy of errors. Max Brosmer, I think is how I'm saying his name correctly, threw 4 interceptions in his NFL debut and had a passer rating of 32.8.
Ooh,
just
32.8. That's not very good. So both times the Seahawks shut out teams in the NFC North, it was 26-0.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Got a theme going there. Another thing that jumped out at me, I missed some of the games because of coming home and driving all the way from Moab, Utah. But on the trip, on Thanksgiving, I did make my nephew happy while on this glamping trip by rooting for his Cowboys to beat the Eagles and then the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. So that's twice in 1 week that the Cowboys won, and I was kind of rooting for him. Of course, truth be told, I was mostly rooting against the Eagles and against the Chiefs, but don't tell him. Justin did root for the Packers for us as well, so it was all even Steven. Everybody was happy. 2 victories in 5 days for both teams, and happy Thanksgiving.
Also, the Panthers beat the Rams.
How?
What? This is good for the Bears as it gave them a tie with the Seahawks for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Of course, before that game was, before the Seahawks Vikings game was over, my Bears fan friends were texting me saying, number 1 seed. You guys are tied for the number 1 seed. Yes, now you are. But this sure makes this weekend's game super exciting. It's just the epic of epic games. My brother is going to the game. His girlfriend bought him club seats at Lambeau Field, so he's going to be sitting in the fancy seats.
Excellent.
I'm a little jealous, but he's going to have a good time. Hopefully, have a good time.
Maybe he'll get some pictures to send to you that he wouldn't mind sharing some.
Absolutely,
see some good stuff. Now this is week 14 coming up. The bye week. Thankfully, it's the last bye week of the season because then things will make a lot more sense. But the final 4 teams on a bye. We got the Carolina Panthers, the New England Patriots, the New York Giants, and the 49ers. So I don't have to see the 49ers on TV this week. So, that's how that goes. And didn't get time because of the glamping trip, but I'm hoping next weekend to see that new Brendan Fraser movie, Rental Family. Have you seen the trailer for that?
I haven't, but I'm a big fan of Brendan Fraser, at least from the 90s.
Yeah, I want to see that at the cinema. It's getting a lot of really good reviews. Looks very heartwarming, just a feel-good movie because he's, I guess, an actor in Japan. He's lived in Japan for 5 years, but the jobs have dried up. So he signs with an agency that rents him out to be somebody's best friend for a day or be somebody's rental family, member for a while. And it's getting good reviews, and just on the trailer, even just watching the cinematography of Tokyo, Japan is just a wonderful thing.
Very cool. Thank you, as always, for supporting the show at PackersFanPodcast.com/giveback. At the Bart Star Patreon level, Jay Walters, thank you, and Go Pack Go. And supporting at the Jordan Love level, Dan Dyler, Go Pack Go, and thank you.
Our patrons at the Brett Favre level getting their own thanks and Go Pack Goes, Megan, Miguel Ramirez, and Scott Boers. And then the Lambeau level Go Pack Goes and thanks to these patrons, Brett Connor, Joe Christensen, Hank Davis from the TV and Movie Review Podcast. Over the past few weeks, Hank has had some really fun episodes reviewing The Running Man, Predator Badlands, and the latest Tron movie. And it's all on his TV and Movie Reviews podcast. Lots of fun there. If you're interested in joining Patreon and supporting the show, check out the details at Packers Fan Podcast/giveback.
The Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast is not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. Please tell even more of your friends about the Packers Fan Podcast. We do appreciate it.
And you can follow us on X. Scott, I heard him last week, still call it Twitter. We are at Packers Fan Pod. You can follow him at GoCastScott. You can follow the Gaming Outsider at The GoCast or me at Wayne Henderson. Let's close out with PFP community members Megan, Dan Dyler, Joe Christensen, and Andre in LA, getting us even more into the Packers Bears week mode.
Go Pack, go!
Go